UK. I got my guys with me. We're doing another episode of Entrepreneur Enthusiast. It's been dope out here. You guys just landed. Mm-hmm. How was your flight?
It was cool, man. I ain't gonna lie, we was in the back of the plane.
Okay, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, that was my first time. Nah, it was great though, man. I'm glad to be here.
He was sitting up like this the whole time.
Can't lean back at all.
Can't lean back. My boy Dave told me because we got blessed and got upgraded.
Yeah.
So I was in bed mode the whole time. He was like, nah, in the back they got relax mode. You go like that. Yeah. You know. So that was the experience. That flight was what, 8 hours?
Yeah, about 7.5, 8.
That's not too bad.
Yeah.
I did 17 hours in the middle seat from Australia one time.
In the middle seat?
In the middle seat.
Oh my God. We did a flight to Bali. It was maybe 20-something hours.
Yeah.
I was telling my mom when we landed, I was like, yeah, you just landed. Imagine you got 9 hours left on the flight.
It's not enough movies, not enough sleeping pills, not enough nothing. Yeah. Not enough nothing to get back and be like, I'm still on this airplane.
Yeah.
I'm still on this airplane. And you guys on the same flight?
Yeah.
Nice. What brings you to UK?
Oh man, it's active, man.
Yeah.
I love it out here. It reminds me of home in New York.
Yeah.
And then I got some merch theory going on.
Yeah.
Came to chop it with you.
It's a big New York vibe out here.
Absolutely.
I peeped it. Like when I landed, I was like, okay, it's no offense to New York, but I was like, okay, it's dirty. We took the subway yesterday. No rats though, no rats. But it was like, okay, they got the tagging all over here. They got the subways that connect. Like, it's been cool, man. I haven't had no service, which has kind of been a blessing for me because like I've been able to disconnect except for when I get Wi-Fi. But I've been able to forcefully disconnect from everything back home and kind of just hone in and focus. And one thing we got some good food yesterday, which was really dope. We went to a restaurant. I forgot the name, but we had it was like a steakhouse. And the difference in the quality of food out here than where we at is like we don't get that pure stuff.
Take all the preservatives.
Take all the preservatives out. So I had a preservative-less burger, which was delicious.
Preservative-less burger.
Yeah, it's delicious, man. So it was like pretty good, out here. Have you been out here before?
No, this is my first time.
First time, but you travel a lot.
Yeah.
Where's your best place that you like to
go? Egypt for the experience and what it meant to me.
I want to put that on the list.
Yeah, it's worth it.
Yeah, I want to Egypt too.
Bali was dope too, man. We went out there for our honeymoon actually, and it's just like usually I go on vacation and you can relax, but like Bali, like you relax, like ain't no spot to relax.
Yeah, I don't even know if I know how to do that yet.
You gotta get that right spot because everybody's chill. You know what I'm saying? Like it's small. They don't have a whole bunch to do, you know what I'm saying? So you really are just sitting in probably some of the most beautiful places you've ever seen. So I really enjoyed it there. And then Rio's fun too if you ever get a chance to go to Brazil.
Man, all the fun places, man. Yeah.
Hey, if you gonna travel, do it right.
Yeah. There's a digital nomad, like they're going to Costa Rica, and a lot of them going to Cartagena right now. A lot of them are going to those two places to get the digital going. I haven't really heard much about Brazil, but a lot of people are just moving out the States to just, because you can live anywhere, kind of, do everything. I know you travel a lot. Hopefully you get a honeymoon soon. Real soon.
We'll see.
Me and my wife, we didn't go to honeymoon because she was already pregnant. Yeah. And we went on a pre-honeymoon before our honeymoon to check out where we were going to have our honeymoon, which was fine with me. She was sick the whole time, but I enjoyed it because it was like a $1,200 a night hotel type thing. Yeah. Her pops had paid for it for us to sample, and so I got to enjoy. I'm enjoying all the amenities, all the amenities, and then the place. Probably the nicest hotel I ever stayed in. It was in Napa Valley, and it was on the winery, and each room was its own cabin, and it had an outside shower and tub. situation. They brought me cookies and milk to the room, like at night, like warm cookies and milk, like. They had the front patio had a fireplace. Like I felt bad because my wife was sick, like, and she was just inside the room, and I'm like, I'm about to enjoy this. Somebody gotta enjoy it. Like I'm not gonna come again.
We gotta see this for us.
For real. And like my favorite breakfast is huevos rancheros, so I got to go down and pick my egg. And like they had a little farm, I got to pick my egg and bring it up to the chef, and they was able to crack the egg like right there live, and it's like best hotel I've ever been into, hands down. And fortunately it burned down with the California fires, like literally a few months right after that, and it burned down. But it was like it was a real dope vibes, like good for like my mental, just to be out and open and get out in the space. And I know we focusing on that when we go to Puerto Rico. Am I saying it right? We're going to Puerto Rico, right?
DR.
I don't know. We need to go to Puerto Rico. PR. We going to DR. And I missed the last trip because I have my flight anxiety. This actually is my first international trip before, and I was getting anxiety before this one.
Like you said, sounds like you gotta go. Man.
But I had too much riding, and I was like, you know what, just do it, you know. So like, mine comes from like being away from my kids, being away from my family. Like with COVID, we were just so packed up together and like did so many things together. What was the experience like in the DR? Like, what did I miss?
Man,
I saw it on the gram. I was kind of like having the FOMO. Like,
nah, it was amazing, man. Like for it to be the first time that we collaborated and did something like that. Like the setting was beautiful. The way the sun rose and set was just peaceful. The pool, the waves, and the beach. Chef Ty was able to really make magic with what we had. Like we literally went to the fish markets and picked the lobsters and picked the snappers and picked the shrimp. Like it was different. Everything was fresh. The workshops were amazing. We had a yoga instructor come through and just teach. It was a flow, you know. So it was so amazing that we're just like, this is the exact vibe we want to create, which is why we're doing it again.
What was the why initially? Like I understand the vibe, but what was that why? Like why? What came about that you were like, let's go do this trip? Why now?
In DR specifically? Well, from the standpoint that I have a friend who lives out there, Las Terrenas, Dominican Republic, which is 2 hours outside of Santo Domingo. He's been on the ground, literally just scouring different places since he moved there last year. And DR has always been a place that I just felt connected to personally. Just from growing up in the Bronx, having a lot of friends who are Dominican, just understanding that culture. I speak a little Espanol myself. Thank you. And it just made sense. You know, it just made sense. And once we were able to really get the setting, you can take this. It really popped it off. And that's what I feel like made it special because of the intention on, you know, really wanting to help other people grow. And it did that.
And one thing I want to add as far as something that we did I thought was pretty monumental even for me was we went to this small school in like a village and helped out this group of kids. We donated supplies and going through like activities and stuff with them. And it was just very, very humbling. It's one thing I appreciate about traveling, period. It was humbling to see the experiences that they were going through, but still being able to find that joy, to have their parents come in. There was one guy came in, he was so proud of his son. He pulled up pictures, couldn't speak no type of English, so we're trying to figure it out. But he's showing me like his son going through like the colors and all this other stuff. And he was just so beaming with pride, and just to be able to see that pure joy, that pure happiness, regardless of what was around them. And you talk about like mental health and just getting to those spaces. That's something that helped with me in my mental health, even because, you know, we all struggle with our stuff. But going out there and seeing, you know, there's a lot more to life than the things you have and that you don't have. So it was just a real strong appreciation for what the true joys of life turns out to be.
Did you know what you were expecting from the trip?
Not really, to be honest with you, man. Like, I went down there, you know, off the strength. I knew that you know, he'll tell you I'm a pretty business analytical minded. So I know what we need to do. Let's go down there and knock it out. But being down there with the group of people that we had is just refreshing. And a lot of times, or sometimes, like, you don't know what you're going to get out of it. And then you leave almost like a changed person. Different perspective, different vibe. Like, we were down there with friends that became even closer friends because you have that time to sit and talk and grow with people. So it was dope, man.
It's crazy because, like, you know, growing up in because you from the Bronx. You from Columbus, Georgia.
Little bit of town, man.
Yeah, small town. Like, I'm from LA, so we've seen our versions of poverty. But then when you leave and you see poverty,
you see real poverty.
It's like, okay, like, you know, people are really living out here. I remember my first experience was in South Africa, and we went to Deep Soup. And in Deep Soup, people are living, like, this room we're in is bigger than people's houses and has more electricity than the people's. They didn't have any electricity. So we were in there, and it's crazy because the same day we went to the richest person in South Africa's, like, house and had dinner with them, like, with people serving us dinner and all that. Right before that, we were in Deep Soup playing with these kids, seeing them, and, like, they don't have really toys, so they had paint cans, and they would stack the paint cans on top of each other, and they would run and see who could jump the highest over it. And that was their game, like, and it was like we built up so much excitement. I started playing with them, and I'm like, this is fun. Like, they had little of nothing, and they made it, and they didn't even realize what they were missing out on, you know. So seeing people that are happy to get fresh water, electricity, like the basic needs, like, can change a perspective on things. Like,
for granted, man.
Yeah. So within that, now we decided to do it again. And what's the purpose and what's the why to go ahead and do it again and kick it off?
Man, well, to do it better. To do it better. To bring on people like yourself. To really give.
I was already on. I just didn't go.
Well, you know, but they don't know that. Like, the new crop of people who are going to come this time, they don't know that. So, from the standpoint of giving the best parts of the experience, like going back to the school, bringing Chef Top back for the food to cook. Bringing back the exact same setting to get that same sunset and that same wake up, because the wake up is different, bro. It's just a better feeling. It's a freeing feeling. So this time around, really just enhancing the experience, so that way, once people see this, we're able to do it quarterly. And then expand out to other places, and not just NDR, but be able to pick out, okay, this is exactly how the experience should feel. So now when we travel to different countries and we're doing market research, we know exactly what we're looking for. To know to be successful.
No, that's important. And I know we've had discussions for years about, like, something like this, because, you know, you travel and, like, you don't really always get to tap into all the senses of traveling, right? You tap into the fun sense, right? But you don't get to tap into the other pieces of it, and it's important. And it's like a lot of people we know don't even get out of their hometown, like they're not even on the outside, you know. And you get, you know, growth from that. And so with your foundation, like, did you bring anything back from that to just, you know, impact and implementing your foundation?
Yeah, in multiple ways. So 2 of my team members actually were out there with us, so that helped. But also just seeing, like, when we came back with something that we're working on trying to get implemented with the schools, is just leveraging relationships that we have to better serve. So like, one of my friends is working in the medical field, so we're trying to see if we can get some type of medical partnership to give them services, whether it's medicine or whatever it is that we can do to help out with that. But coming back to be able to say, like, as you said, like, they don't have much, and we've been blessed enough to have quite a bit. So how can we leverage what we have to really give back?
Tell me about your foundation.
So it's called Beats and Books. It's a nonprofit music industry education program, basically. So what we do, we stand on 3 pillars: is engage, empower, employ. So we introduce students, usually about middle school, high school, all the way up through college. We introduce them to the music industry, give them, like, whether it be you're in studio doing pop-up sessions and stuff like that, to doing hands-on workshops and certifications, all the way to the employee piece, which is giving them actual jobs in the industry. So to date, we've been blessed enough to work with more than 2,000 kids. We've employed 60 plus. Work with all types of Grammy Award winners and nominated and multi-platinum. Just really the entire goal is to break down the walls between, like, the Hollywood glitz and glamour of the industry and where those students are. Because I remember what it was like when I didn't know nothing. I didn't know anybody, trying to figure it out. And it's like a lot of times you don't have those people that are reaching out to give you a hand to help you get wherever. I was like, well, if I have the ability to, and the same thing with how Evan and I connected, is like, well, if I can help you, why not? Yeah. Let me do what I can to make.
Not everybody has that mentality. Some people just like, I ain't gonna help you.
Yeah. I mean, and fair enough, but in my mind, bro, like, I know that I wouldn't be here if I didn't have certain people that did.
Yeah.
Whether it's mentors or teachers or my mom or something. Like, I realize how important those experiences, those little times, or even if somebody holds the door for you when you're having a bad day, or smiles, or, have a good day or something, like that can be pivotal in people's lives. Yeah. So I saw how impactful the small pieces of help that people gave me throughout my life was. I was like, so that's why it's so important. That's why it's so important to give back.
So what was your why of just starting a foundation? Because that's another level. You can give back, but then to actually go into starting a foundation, what was your why?
Because I ain't have it. To be honest with you, man, I was like, I was, and I say a blessing because it is a blessing. I was blessed enough to find pretty decent success in the industry pretty quickly. Yeah. And it was honestly like, one, it wasn't as hard as I thought it was. Yeah. There's just so many things that are unknown for people that it makes it a little bit harder to navigate. But when I got to a certain level, I looked around and my peers, they were doing great, great hit records, all this stuff. But contracts weren't taken care of. They didn't know how to do their balance sheets and all this. There was a certain level of knowledge and acumen that the majority of people around me were not having. Yeah. So it started from that core of, we've got to educate our people, because we have all these basketball players, we have all these entertainers and stuff that they try to corner us in and put us as these type of people. Well, it's like, we can do that with our talent, with our skills, but let's bring the knowledge, let's bring the education, because that wisdom turns into power when you're applying it appropriately.
Did you watch the Shaq documentary? So he had a documentary, and one thing that stuck out, what he said was, he was ready, because he was at LMU, and he was ready to go pro one year, and his mom asked, can you balance a checkbook? And he tried, and he was like, no. And she was like, you're not ready. Like, you're not ready. So then the next year he came back and he got the checkbook and he balanced it, and she was like, all right, you ready? Like, that literacy is important, because like, I asked somebody the question the other day, I interviewed DJ Friction, like, what was his big check, like his first big check moment? And a lot of times, we get older and we get our first big check. It's really not a big check, but because as you get the check, it's like, this is a big check. Like, it's a check. Like, I got it. And it's like having that first big check moment, and then you spend it on all the expenses, and it's like, it's gone. It was already gone before you got it. You got it. So what was your like first big check moment and experience in that?
Just in life?
Yeah.
First big check. What are we talking as big?
Whatever you was like, what did you tell us? Whatever you felt at the time was like.
I mean, there's been certain moments that was big to me, just because of the different lanes that I've jumped in. Like the first time that I became a life coach, like certified in 2020, and I got my first client. That was a Cash App check. That was $125. Yeah. That was big to me. Yeah. Because that showed me somebody is willing to pay for my service, right? That I was getting an ROI on this education that I just got. And and they continued to come back to me.
Yeah.
And went into my program, which turned into a bigger check.
Yeah.
So that's a big check to me.
Yeah.
But a big check.
Yeah.
I'll never forget, man, my client Archer, after, months of, being courted and working on how we're going to close this publishing deal, and we closed $1 million deal. Mm-hmm. And when I got my, management percentage, my bank account changed overnight.
Yeah.
Quite large. Yeah, pretty significant.
Yeah.
So that was, but nothing changed the day after, from the sense of I was real sick. And so I knew that, having bread is cool, but feeling better and being well, and I don't mean like sick just like a cold, like the flu. Like, nah, I had some serious things going on where I couldn't enjoy the money if I wanted to. I was, in the situation. But that really let me know that God is saying, like, look, I could bless you like this, but I need you to take care of yourself on this side.
Man, that alignment is so important.
So it was a big check.
Yeah.
It was a big lesson. Like, all right, like, you can have this, but I'm going to take it away from you if you don't do what you need to do over here. Man, that's how I live my life principle.
He'll do that. And so basically you weren't prepared.
No.
And now, you position yourself to be prepared. Take me through that, like, to get to that mentality. What strength and discipline did it take?
Man, there's so many, to be honest, because there's so much persistency that you have to have in running that marathon. Because there's going to be a bunch of bumps in the road that try to derail you. Something in the contract that you just know that it's just not right. What do you do then? You just accept it? You just lay down and just take it? No, you got to go back to the drawing board. Yeah. Even if somebody is shining something bright in your face on this side, you got to always check the details on this side. And if you don't even know what to look for, then you need to go back and prepare yourself. Yeah. What does preparation look like? For me, I mean, like, I've never been in the music industry before, so what Torey's talking about with his organization, I could have learned something. That. I had to go read a book and go apply it in real life. Yeah. Like, I'm grateful for mentors, too. I have an attorney who's had my back since I was a teenager. Yeah. So I know that whenever he's looking at a contract, I know he's looking in my best interest. Yeah, because they don't teach you those things. Like, it's needed. You don't understand that. Like, even my experience with that, I don't know if I shared it with you. I was supposed to be West Coast Diddy. For real. I think we talked about that. Like, I had a few because I was AR engineering. I had a few people coming to my house because I had a space. Yeah. So I had a studio. And this is 2005. 2004, 2005, where it was expensive to have a computer, to have the equipment.
You had that real equipment.
Yeah, the real equipment. So I had a studio, but I didn't know what I had. And I had artists coming through, but I didn't know what I had. My friends would come over, waste time, sit around, smoke, drink, eat, not really be super productive. Like, you're talking about an 8-hour day, productive for 30 minutes, at most, and it was just like, I didn't know if I would have had something like that, then I would have been able to say, okay, let's get some contracts in place. Let's get a schedule in place. Like, let's make this a business, because we had a business, but I wasn't, educated enough to understand how to take that from the garage to bigger.
And one of the things I always ask people to kind of get them on board, let's say that, is a lot of folks chase their dreams but aren't prepared for when it arrives. And it's similar to what we were just talking about, what you was just saying with yours, is like, if, like, we talk to the students, they're like, oh, I want $1 million, right? So, okay, if I gave you $1 million right now, what you gonna do?
What you gonna do with it?
What you gonna do with it? And nobody knows the answer. Yeah. Like, it's like, not only what are you gonna do with it, how are you gonna keep it from going down to zero? And they don't know how to apply these certain things. So one thing I let people know is that, and Evan was talking about it as well, perseverance. Like, you have to go through those bumps in the road, so that when you get that blessing that you're searching for, you're prepared to keep it and to grow it. Because there's a lot of people, we all know them, like, you get that check or you get whatever the blessing you're asking for, you get it, and you fumble.
I fumbled 3 bags, and I was like, it's like every time it's more money too. It's like more and more. And I'm like, next time I get it, I'm not gonna fumble that bag. Like, next time I get it. So, like, now that I'm in my latest bag, I think the my family has helped it because I have to be disciplined because I have like my soldiers underneath me that I'm training, to be better than me. So I have to be disciplined. Before it was just like, oh, I got this bag, like let's go. Let's go. And like, you don't. I always give people this advice. I had a buddy, I'm not gonna say his name on the camera, but he got hit by a car. He didn't get hurt, but he got a nice big check. For him, and he works a 9-to-5 job part-time by choice, so he could do his thing on the side, but the check was about $100K. He only made $2,000-$3,000 a month in his job. So I told him, I was like, bro, take 3 months of your paycheck and go do whatever you want. Whatever you want. Whatever you need to do, go do whatever you want and get it out your system. The rest of it, you got to go invest, buy a property, put some investments up, do something. And like every time he posts, like he bought a car, I'll call him now and be like, bro, what are you doing? Like, did you call the mortgage broker yet? Like, what's going on? And then, and I'm always on my friends about that because I get it. You gotta have fun, especially when you don't have money and you wanna buy your toys, whatever that is, get that out your system. Because then you realize how unsatisfactory it is. Like it dies real quick. So you get it out your way. You understand. I didn't enjoy that, and I learned that lesson through my my kids. Like my daughter, she left her $20 at home, and we was going to Target. And she was saving. She saves up her money to go horseback riding. So she has to, the money she makes, she has to apply it to her lessons. So she knows. So if you want to go, you better save that money. Yeah. So we go to Target, and she saw something she really wanted. And she was like, "Dad, can I have this?" I was like, "Nah, you don't got your money on you." She was like, "But I'll pay you back." I was like, "But what about horseback riding?" She was like, "Nah." And then she was like, "Well, I'll give you $25. She was $5 over the thing. I was like, "So you gonna give me interest back?" And it was like my first like credit moment. I was like, "Wow, like she really doing this." And I gave her the scenarios. I'm like, "Look, you can get your instant gratification right now, and like buy what you need out of Target, and then you're gonna go home, and then that's it. Or you can save the $20." And I'll give you another $5, and you can use it towards your horseback riding. She chose to give me the loan. She chose the loan.
She gave her the option.
Yeah, I gave her the option. I taught her. She chose the loan, right? And she later on, she learned and was like, "Oh, I should have saved the money," because when it came up to pay up for horseback riding, she was short. I was like, I'll give you a loan for it, but I'm not gonna give you the money.
Remember that $25?
Now you're in debt to me. And like it was her first lesson, and like then I was like, okay, she just doesn't understand the financial literacy. Like she's in the world where it's like, I want, I'm gonna get, but not like how I'm gonna get it, how I'm gonna do it. And that was the interesting perspective for me to teach her. So then I started applying that to my friends, like, because you want, but you gotta be in a position to mentally understand what you're gonna do with it. You could just lose it, like it could just go away.
A lot of people think that it won't. Also, they think that once you get it, like you've arrived. I fumbled a couple of bags myself. I feel like it comes with the territory. One thing I want to say, and you talked about, it's just a thought that came up when you were talking about like you're a little more responsible now because you have a family. You have to be a little more disciplined. I don't have kids yet. We're working on it, but I ain't got them yet. Yeah. One thing I've realized about my family, my friends, and just everybody that's kind of poured into me, I've changed the way that I behave and handle things because I think I owe it to everybody to be my best self in every opportunity that I can. And that comes with the spiritual, that comes with the mental, the physical, the financial, and everything like that. Because if somebody calls on you on that day when they need you the most and you're not at your best, and you might have let them down. You could have saved their life in that moment. And I've dedicated myself because I've been up and been reeled down too. You know what I'm saying? To be like, look, bro, like you're here, you got an opportunity, if somebody calls you at any point in time, can you deliver your best self?
Yeah.
The only way you can do that is by working on that internal piece of yourself. So, and a lot of times it comes when we get forced externally, when your family comes in, or when you just really just shit out of luck at the bottom, you know what I'm saying, guy, and you have no choice but to struggle and figure it out. But I think we all have those responsibilities to people around us and to the people, to ourselves, to put in that work, to be consistent, to say, if it comes, I ain't gonna lose it this time. And if you lose it this time, you got one more time to try it out.
Yeah. How do you, I forgot the term for it. It's not survivor's remorse. How do you guys manage that? You know, when it's a certain time where it's like that person's just not getting it, you gotta cut them off, and it's like, damn, we've been boys for a minute.
I think that this is just me personally. When it comes to that, you have to choose yourself.
Yeah.
Because when you get burned so many times in a capacity where you're putting yourself in positions to lose, it's not worth that relationship no more, because you're growing separately, and that's okay. Like, I could still be somebody's friend, right? However, I can't now include you in my business dealings. I cannot include you in certain outings or certain arenas where you could embarrass the situation. That we're playing for keeps, so the cost is too high to have someone coming around fumbling the bag. Maybe 3 lost bags ago, it was still like, yo, pull up, we're good. But after you see the writing on the wall, it's like, no, you don't get it, and that's okay.
How'd you get, because you're in the music industry, so you're in the space where people are like, oh, it's fun, glitz and glamorous, and like, we don't even talk about music, like, in the industry, like, and that's our dynamic of our friendship. But how do you handle that with people in the past, or people whatever, just saying, hey, put me on, like, do this, like.
Man,
all the time.
From a capacity, it's like, even though I'm in the music industry, I'm not in the music industry. Which is silly to say, but it's the truth, because I don't operate in that world how that world normally operates. Sure, I can walk into a lot of the spaces. However, it's not my dream and passion to be the biggest executive or to sign the greatest superstar. Like, I don't care about none of that. And I walk around like that, and I talk it, and I show it all the time. And I think that's probably like the reason why I'm just accepted, because it's just like, he doesn't really care that much. So like, it works. Right? I have my own mission. Paces is the mission. Like, that's at 50 years old, I'll be traveling the world, speaking globally and helping people grow. That want to put in the work. In the music industry, you'll see a lot of people say, hey man, I make beats. All right, I got 30 beats for you right now. I'm like, all right, do you have all of the writers written down? Do you have your BMI? Do you have your publishing? Do you have this? Do you have your split sheets for the records? And they're looking at me like I'm speaking a foreign language.
But I got these beats though.
But I got all these beats, and I just get confused every time, because I'm just like, well, you need to go to his.
I was about to say, you need to go over there. You need to go learn something.
And even when you point people to go learn, sometimes they don't go learn. I have many videos online that is speaking on some of the stuff people are asking me. Yo, just go to the video, and when you have a question, here's my email or here's my number. Hit me up after you watch it.
Don't waste my time with questions you can Google.
But even past that, I'm giving you my contact. And you're still asking me the same question that I just said was in this particular.
But that's the key to doing exactly what you said, as far as kind of weaning people off. Is what I've learned to do, because I've had just as probably not as much as him, but just as many people come like, yo, bro, can you put me on? Can you do whatever? It's like, I'm gonna give you the first step, and if you don't get past this first step, I'm not gonna give you the second one. Every time you come back, we're gonna talk about that same first step. And eventually, like, I agree with you completely to say that not everybody has to be a business partner just because they're your friend. Like, there's some people that I hang out with and do absolutely nothing but play video games. There's some people I go out to eat with, and that's all we do. There's some people I talk business nonstop. You know what I'm saying? And it's not good or bad or anything. It's just where our relationship best aligns. And I think that life can teach people way better than I can. It can bring all the elements that needs to teach them the lesson that they need to in the time that they need to learn it. I don't have to attach myself to their outcome.
Yeah.
I can attach myself to what I can do for their outcome. So I'll do my part. I'll give you that first step, and I'll give you with pure intention. If you do it, I guarantee you I'm going to give you the second. Then I'm going to give you the third, and I'll walk you to the promised land, right? I'll get you there because I can, but you got to take that first step.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we expect people to take step 1 through 5, and we get disappointed when they don't.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not, I learned this real early, and it sounds terrible to say, but I learned it early in the music.
You on camera.
We're going to put it out there. Like, 70 to 90% of people's dreams ain't going to come true.
Nah, that's true.
Because it takes a lot.
They're not dedicated.
Yeah, it takes a lot. It just takes a lot of everything. Dedication, perseverance, takes a lot of pain, struggle, sacrifice. Yeah. We all know what it's like. And not everybody thinks that what they're going for is worth going through that. So that's not good or bad. Yeah. Like, we have to fall on the scale somewhere, but when I realized that most people's stuff ain't gonna go, it's like, well, let me give all I can to the people that will. I'll give, like we just said, the first step, so I can say I did my part. Yeah. Because if I'm empowered to do so, I gotta do my part. But you don't have to walk somebody to the finish line, because what we just talked about, fumbling bags, when you get there, what you gonna do if you didn't earn it? Yeah, you didn't go through all those things. Now you got it and you dropped it. Now you're gonna ask me again a year from now. Yeah. The same thing. And now I'm just going to like you a little bit less because we already been here before. Yeah. No, I've had some. I have a no fucks attitude. Like, even when on my Uber ride here, I got a soft spot for Uber drivers. I always ask them, questions and, what's their why, what are they doing, what they working on. Even my driver that dropped me off to the airport, I just asked him, I was like, what's your why? Like, what's your goals? What you doing? Obviously, you're trying to make money. You want to get out of it. And he was explaining. I mean, basically, his answer came down to somebody's going. You always need someone to, help. And I was like, nah, you don't. You just got to go get it. And then if you aligned, then those people will be aligned with you, and you find it like no one owes you nothing. No one's gonna hand you nothing. No one's gonna give you nothing. And if you have that mentality where you go get it, then you have your barrier. But a lot of people are just like this, and they think that it just falls in your hands, And like I've one of my first business partners, we had to split because we started our company together because his ideas were different than mine. When it's like I'm like going to go get it, he's waiting for it to come. He's not showing up to meetings. He's going to meetings as me in my name because I couldn't come, and the client don't know, and he don't show up. The client calling me like, "You not here?" And it's like, bro, the bag is there. You talk about fumble bags, like it's there. Like, but they want to work with us. They gonna give us the money. So what's going on? And it like he wouldn't show up, and then it wouldn't even be no remorse on the excuse on why he didn't show up. Right. It's like, all right, so you're really not even helping the business grow, so what are we doing here? And we kind of had a falling out over there. We haven't really been the same. We grew up together. We haven't been the same since, and haven't even reconciled that. And it's hard to one, I was just saying this earlier, like, and I'm trying to get the word help out of my vocabulary. Like, I can't help you because that means I'm volunteering. And that means you may or may not you're going to choose my help. Like, you're going to pick and choose what I'm telling you. Like, you give them the blueprint and, and they don't do it. They want you to, hold my hand, Torey, walk me over to the promised land. Like, nah, like, I can't help anymore at this age. I can show you the blueprint because it's there. And you can choose to take it if you decide to choose it. And a lot of times people they don't know what it takes, and what it does. So like I have this attitude, there's like, so people are always constantly asking me, hey, can you put me on a job? How do I make some money? What do I do? And it's like, when I break down, it's like, all right, if you sell t-shirts, like, okay, you sell t-shirts. You want to, how much you need to make a month? Okay, $10,000 a month. That's how much you want to make a month. Okay, cool.
You know, what's it going to take you to do that? You put down the math. Okay, I got to sell 200 shirts a month. Okay, that's obtainable. Okay, you break that down in a day. I got to sell 10 shirts a day. You know, get one day off. So, okay, what's that going to take? You go outside, stand on a corner, and sell 10 shirts. Walk into the barbershops, walk into the mall, walk to the beach, walk to the tourist place, and you sell them 10 shirts. Like, and you stay there until you're done. And you reach your quota. And then once you reach your quota, you do that every single day, then at the end of the day, you make your $10,000 a month. But you're not willing to do what it takes to do that. Like, crack dealers would stand on the corner as long as they can to make that money. So you're not really willing to do what it takes. You want a handout, and that's why most people don't make it, because they don't want to make it. In my opinion, they just want it to be handed to them. You know, and you know, we're adults now. We're not kids. So when you're a kid, your mom's gonna come make you a sandwich. You know, she's gonna come help you out. She's gonna come maybe clean up after you. As you get older, some of those things get taken away. You know, and then you start taking care of yourself. And a lot of adults don't want to do that. You know, want to transition to that. So have you guys experienced like a fallout with friends, with someone that you felt like you were close to because you wanted to help them get in your position?
A couple times actually. You want to go first? I know you got something too. What you want to do?
When I think of it now, I don't even look at it as like, I don't necessarily say I do business with friends anymore. I literally will separate the person's identity role in whatever entity it is that I'm conducting.
Yeah.
Right? So on our way here, even though Torey is the PACE's operations guidance counselor, that's not what he is today. You know what I'm saying? And we haven't spoken on anything PACE's at all.
Yeah.
That's not his role today. He works for Delta too. So if we're traveling, then he's a Delta employee. I may have a question. You know what I'm saying? So like, I literally take the cap off for whatever role this person is playing. For you right now, you're the entrepreneur enthusiast. But I know you just from over there from Affluent Solutions. I know you as an Uber driver. I know you as a restaurant owner. I know you as a space owner. That's 5 different hats for just one person. So like, and that's the beauty of me becoming a life coach. I have so many experiences talking to so many different people and understanding them in certain ways that are so intimate that I could remove the identity.
Got it.
Place another one.
Was that in you, or did you feel like you grew into that?
It developed because I had to realize how many of those hats I wear. I'm an uncle, I'm a nephew, I'm a son, I'm a grandson, I'm a manager, I'm a philanthropist, I have 50,000 roles and hats that I could put on at any given moment. And I have to switch them accordingly depending on who I'm dealing with. Because you may know me from one world, you may know me from another world, and these people know me from a world y'all never even heard of. But I'm excellent in almost all of these worlds. So that takes a lot of energy to cycle those hats. So it's just a natural thing that I do now with other people. And I'm not saying that that's the easiest thing to do. It's taking a lot of development and understanding your personal role in the situation.
That's real maturity. I mean, to be able to separate that, like, that's why like me and my wife can never do business together, like, at all, because she don't like being told what to do. But when it comes for me and work, I know what to do, and I'm like, this is how it is. At home, look, you got it. Like, I'm good. You know, this spot is yours. You the boss over here. Like, I know how to be the employee, but when it comes to, I'm gonna call it out if you're slipping in work. Like, I'm gonna call it out because I'm gonna call myself out. You know, so I'm gonna hold myself to a certain tier of accountability. I've had to scale back because I get a little aggressive because I don't have no remorse. Like, it's like, you giving me excuses, write it on the wall. and let's deal with it. Let's have a solution. You know, that's why I came up with a fluent solution. Like, solutions only. You could tell me 100 problems. They got solutions. Don't keep telling me problems. You know, and then so I had to kind of tone back from that attitude of like I'm learning that too, of not expecting that much more from people, allowing them the pace to grow. And I think my kids taught me this too, allowing them to grow within what they're doing and allow them to make mistakes and then identify what the mistake was so we can not make that mistake again. That was something I'm still developing that, now, because you're going to make mistakes like instantly,
That's something I had to learn too, even with like some of the team members I work with, is like a lot of times, especially when, as you said, you know how things are supposed to go. We know like the excuses, the solution. We know all that. Especially when you can see it from the outside looking in. But some people will come, for lack of better terms, come to work, mess up, but show that they're trying. That's all I need you to do, is show that you're trying to get to it. And you might fumble here, can't fumble nothing too crazy now, but responsibly grow. And that's what you get. Like you said, give them space to responsibly grow. And that helped in, I can't say, I've had a couple fallings out with people over business. I won't necessarily say all of them were my friends, but I did have a business with my friends that fell out. And it took a lot of maturity for me, similar to what Evan said, of separating what it is. Like, one of the ones that's involved has been my friend for like years, like almost 15 years now. So it's like, granted, our business didn't go. I would have preferred for us to have done this way. It didn't work out, but that's just business. It is what it is. I'm not going to take it personally because I still do business. That business didn't work out, but I have this one. I know I can't even say I don't necessarily work with my friends anymore, because what I've been thankful for is that my business partners have grown to be my friends. You know what I'm saying? But I think what Evan is saying is very important as far as just separating it out a little bit. Like, I don't have to take it personal that you didn't, for lack of better terms, live up to my expectations. Because who am I to have expectations of you this way? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, succeed in what you want to succeed in. I'm going to succeed in what I want to succeed in. And if it aligns, great. If it don't, cool. You're still my boy. As long as it's not, negligent, disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? Like, the other stuff, business is business. And we treat it like our babies because it's personal, especially if it's your like brainchild. You put all this time into it and energy, but it's gonna go the way it's supposed to go every single time. And I'd much rather find out on the front end that we're not meant to be business partners than on the back end when it's really, when it's real money on the table, or we years down the line and now I'm like, oh, now we fucking up. You get what I'm saying? So I'd rather take my L's on the front. It's cool.
No, that's a fact. That's a fact. One thing that helped me too was having systems in place, right? And like I tell people, like friends come to me for advice, and when they're going in business together, like it's like almost like therapy. And when I'm talking to them, I'm like, look, you guys, you have this role, you have this role. Like, don't be catty because she's not doing this or he's not doing this. Is that their role? If it's not their role, then you can't be upset. And if you didn't set expectations for that role, you really can't be upset because there was no expectations. You have to have everything has to be measurable and tangible. Your role in Paces.
Are you asking?
I'm asking about your role in Paces.
It's probably operations and logistics. How it works in real life is that a lot of times Evan will come up with a very grand visionary idea, and I say, okay, well, this works, this don't work, this how this gonna have to go. Like, and we've grown over time, similar to what you were saying, how you're a little more aggressive, a little more straightforward. Like, I'm all about, does it work or does it not work? All the other stuff doesn't matter. So even in our working relationship, he'll fully bake his plan before he brings it to me because he knows all I'm going to do is start poking holes in it. But that
annoying. How's it not going to work? You can sit with it yet. But I'm like,
But so that's how it works, is just bringing the logistics and the operations, more of the detailed pieces of like, I know this is where we're going, well, this is how we can make it work, and this is maybe some things that we didn't consider in actually pulling it off. So it works out in that type of balance. We talk about DISC assessment, he's the I, D all the way, I'm the SC, which is basically he leads it, he's the artist, the face, the personality, the visionary, and I'm on the support side, and it's conscientious but like detail oriented. So it balances out pretty well in that way.
Where did that come? Was that always there?
As far as,
was he always detail oriented, Mom?
that was always there.
Yeah.
I think that's why naturally, like again, and we were working together before I became a certified life coach.
Yeah.
In pretty much the same capacity.
Yeah.
But after I became a life coach and understood the assessment the way that I do, understanding his strengths and my strengths and balancing them, the flow just became a lot more effortless.
Yeah.
Because it's like, without us needing to communicate, I understand what he needs from me to look at it a certain way, and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? Whereas before, there would be a lot more like, man, what are we talking about? You know what I'm saying? Because I come from a different segment than he does, naturally. Mm-hmm. So I had to get on his level and think like, okay, well, if he's conscientious in a high C, I need to give more detail. Because he doesn't even understand what I'm talking about. Yep. Because I move so fast, and he moves so slow. Yeah. Opposite ends of the spectrum. So it's just like I'm having to speed him up. Like, look, you don't need to look at this no more because here's the facts. Here's the location. Here's the this. This is already done. Transportation is this. Now what? Now what? Yeah. He's still gonna find holes. Don't get it twisted. There's still gonna be little holes, but now it's like he knows that I did what I was supposed to do. Yeah. And he can respect it enough to give his all in that commitment. You know, my mom used to always tell me, well, not my mom, people would tell me to slow down because they didn't understand what I was saying. Mm-hmm. And my mom, she was an educator, and she would always tell me, you know, you gotta say what you're gonna say, and you gotta say it in a way where people understand it, because you're saying it in a complex way, and not everyone's gonna understand. And now I'm at the point where if you don't understand, it is what it is. Like, I'm like, it is what it is. Like, I never really grasped that. Like, I have to even tell my wife now. She's like, "Can you slow down?" I'm like, "Can you speed up?" You know, I'm like on that, but because she knows me, I can be at my same pace and give it to her. And then she'll break it down and understand that. Like, it's important in business, right? Like, so it's like, it's not about slowing down, though. It's about having someone to understand your pace, and you bring it to them and say, this is how this is going to work, you know? And then you, like you said, you got to poke them holes into it, you know? And everything you guys are doing at Paces is dope, you know, because it's a process that needs to be told. Is a process that needs to be in place. I'm trying to remember my acronyms right now. I'm trying to remember it. It's been a long thing, but we got P for passion.
Go ahead and get the formula, dog.
A is for action. Mm-hmm. C is courage. Mm-hmm. E is energy, and that's the pace. Mm-hmm. And then all of those together equal the S, which is success. Yep. Okay. And now I gotta get my Paces shirt so I can wear the merch everywhere and get it out there. So we going to the DR. I got it right this time on April 27th. Why should people come? Why should they tap in? Oh man, if you want to learn more about yourself and learn more about how to actually take care of yourself from a self-care standpoint, give back, be around great people in a great vibe and environment, and grow, it's going to be the place for you.
Mm-hmm. I would say if there is a better you that you think is on the other side of an action that you haven't taken, this is the time to try it, to go do something, to go say, you know what? I know that I can do better. I might not know how, but I'm just going to take a step. Like you said earlier, sometimes you just got to go. You just got to go. And being even for me, as somebody that's part of the organization, being around people that are looking to inspire, looking to better themselves, have something to offer you, open welcome arms, you know what I'm saying? A place where you can come and feel safe to grow. Mm-hmm. That's all we're looking for. And then giving you the systems to do it. Like, that's the big question. Because we could have had this conversation in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. But we came to the UK. I know you're here for work. I'm here for workshop. Then you came, mm-hmm. you know. But the idea of us being out here and then going to be able to see new things. What is the importance of being able to be away and have these conversations with people away from your backyard, away from home, and to get away and be around people that are like-minded?
from my standpoint, it's the global perspective.
Yeah.
Right? So we could have had this conversation in Atlanta. However, we're in a different mindset, in a different environment right now. You know? So that's exactly why these international retreats take you away from home.
Yeah.
To put you in an element where you have to learn, where you have to grow, where you have to see certain things and do things differently.
Yeah.
And that's why I enjoy traveling so much, because those senses, I'm always picking up and learning new things.
Yeah.
When you stop learning, you stop growing.
It forces new perspective.
Yeah.
And I think that that's inherent with growth and change, is putting yourself into a space where you have no choice but to change your perspective.
Yeah.
The first time that I went out the country and came back, I saw just how closed-minded I was, even though I thought I wasn't.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Just because of the society that we as Americans live in, you only see a certain side of other pieces of the world. But when you come back in, it's like life makes a little more sense to you, and you also realize that the world is a lot bigger, but it's also, the human experience is a lot smaller.
Yeah.
So like being able to, like you were talking about having some of your French partners earlier, like realizing that we're all the same. We might talk different, we might speak different languages, etc., but we literally all are dealing with the same things.
Yeah.
So it helps in elevating what we're doing, because at the end of the day, we're trying to help, maybe not help each other, we're trying to guide
each other.
Right?
Yeah.
Help out the vocabulary.
Yeah.
Trying to guide each other. And it was important for me to be here, I mean, literally just for that, to take a step out of what you normally do, what you normally know, the way you normally do things, because the only way you're going to do new things is to do new things.
Yeah, nah, that's real. So how can they find the retreat? How can they go? How can they be a part of the Paces journey? Because I missed the last one, but I'm not missing this one. I'm excited for this one, and we need more people to continue to tap in. So how can they find it?
So you could check it out on retreat.pacesworldwide.com for more information, or you could find us on Instagram, paces.worldwide. DM us. We'll give you all the information you need.
I'll drop a link somewhere on the video. People need the link. I'm supposed to be like, drop the link. Drop the link right here. So yeah, man, it's an episode of Entrepreneur Enthusiast, the UK edition.
Yeah.
Which was a dope episode, and I hope we could continue to have these conversations more and more, you know, in different continents. Like, I don't even want to talk to y'all in the States. We can talk, you know, other places and just have these conversations and get stuff done. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Entrepreneur Enthusiast. If you haven't already, get the Paces, the link, but get your entrepreneur toolkit. You know, download that. If you're striving to be an entrepreneur, you got to have a toolkit to understand how do you get the next step, and we got that for you. So just subscribe, joeluckett.com, and thank you guys for tuning in.